All right.
Alright, what? Sam, fuck you!
I'm sorry. My fucking insane laughter aside, that was perfect. I said it because I thought he wasn't going to say it this time because he was making an effort not to, but he actually just started with, all right, let's go. Yeah, that's great.
Alright, I guess
Yeah,
that's our opening now. We're the alright squad.
We're the all-right crew, the all-right alliance.
Not to be confused with the alt-right alliance.
Or the sense of right alliance.
We're,
Shrek, a car, Batman, Spider-Man, a Power Ranger.
we don't associate ourselves with the People's Front of Judea.
What about the Judean People's Front?
They're alright.
Okay. We have to work together against our real enemy, the Judean People Front. No, the Romans. Oh, I love that movie.
It's a good fucking movie.
When are we gonna go to a Prince of Egypt world in Kingdom Hearts?
I think that's a little too religious. Is that even Disney?
No, it's DreamWorks, but I would still love a
That's
Prince
why.
of Egypt world. I hope Disney consumes all, so I can go to every world in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Kingdom,
too.
I want Kingdom Hearts to replace VR chat.
I want, what I want is a Treasure Planet world. I know we discussed it before, but, I was watching Kid Icarus's Kingdom Hearts 2, or Kingdom Hearts 3 review, and he brought up the fact that the spheres that give you treasure and gummies in Kingdom Hearts 3 when you're flying through space, they look like that treasure map in
Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet.
Yeah, like the 3D galactic one.
Yeah, like the sphere itself.
Something that really,
is what I mean, but
something
yeah.
that fucking Star Wars does and that Treasure Planet does that I really appreciate in like sci-fi fiction or space fiction is that when you're out in space, you should not be using a flat map to navigate.
Yeah.
It should be a three-dimensional map. Like, have you ever noticed, like in Star Trek, when they use a map, it's like always two-dimensional and from the top down, and you're like, but that's not how space works.
I
It would need
never
to be
thought
three
of it
dimensions.
before, but yeah, now I noticed that. And now
Yeah.
that I think about that, yeah.
Because like in Kingdom Hearts 2, when you're cruising along in between the worlds, you're looking at a flat top-down thing. But in 3, it's full 3D unless you're fast traveling, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Or it just makes sense for it to be a full 3D map because it's space, which
Yeah.
isn't structured like the ocean or anything like that.
Not structured like ocean or land mass.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit of
Well, I mean, technically, if we actually use the air and the like if we started, building shit underwater or in the sky or underground, the world would then shift to more of a 3D map. But because we build on the surface almost exclusively,
That's true.
yeah.
I mean, there are. Oh,
It'd be like a
ancient
weird 3D. It'd be
societies
like a weird
built
3D
themselves
Minecraft or
in-
Dwarf Fortress map.
the
Yeah.
Maleficent says,
Ancient societies did build themselves into like sides
"Hoist
of
anchor as soon as
caverns and shit.
possible. Leave all
Here's the
dead men
Here's the
behind,
question. What's the
including
natural in your opinion? What's the natural next step for humanity? Building in space, or building in the sky / underwater / underground?
As long as it means getting Harry's
Um,
heart back, I couldn't care less.
The way things are going, probably terraforming Mars is going to be the next step.
Oh, okay. Because what I want is I want the entire Earth to be used up in terms of like us building structures
Yeah.
before we move on. But I know that's apocalyptic and kind of horrible because it just damages wildlife and the planet.
Yeah, that would like cause.
Now that I think about it, that's a terrible idea. That's
Yeah.
an awful idea. Because that's one of the problems with the worlds in 40K is that every planet is just a massive factory society
Yeah.
where all of the air underwater, underground, and the surface are used up by people. And it's funny because the main character in the Eisenhorn books has a vacation home that's like a nice sunny beach.
Yeah.
But all it is that there's just this massive gas pocket where none of the smog can get because of chemicals.
Oh my
So
god.
he's just living in that oxygen pocket. It's like living in an actual bubble.
Yeah.
So like he looks across the water and he can see the water and it looks beautiful, but he looks slightly past it and there's just this wall of smog and greasy air
Ew.
that he can't see past because he's in the one spot on the planet that's not fucked up.
Yeah.
Or like where characters will be halfway through a conversation and then all of a sudden they have to start equipping armor pretty much because of the acid rain because the planet's so polluted.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of the Blarg.
Yeah, like the Blarg from Ratchet and Clank, where they're all wearing like gas masks and stuff, and their weapons actually fire like they look like fart guns pretty much.
Yeah.
But they're just emptying their filtration devices.
Yup.
And that's how they do. They just fire the toxic gas from their own homeworld at people.
I really like Ratchet and Clank 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
I love that kind of sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
Like so they don't
like
actually tell you, but you can just tell from observation. What's up?
Like super materialistic.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it.
Oh yeah, the fucking Chairman Drek is the kind of person that would lead the kind of future that I mentioned that I wanted for like a second there.
Yeah.
Like I think it'd be cool. It'd be horrible. There'd be horrible consequences. I never want to live in that future, but I'd love to read about that future.
Yeah.
Or like see it on the screen. Now, in reality, what I do want is space colonies.
Yeah, I feel like that's what's gonna more than likely happen in the future.
Because I don't even want to terraform Mars. I want the giant living satellites with like land growing on them with their own natural unnatural atmospheres and shit. Like, you ever look at a Dyson sphere?
No, what's that?
Okay, a Dyson sphere is it's an idea of like a convex Earth made entirely out of like it's artificial, and it has its own natural sun. It's built around a small star, and what it is you basically just build an inverse planet around a star. And everything is on the interior of this giant sphere.
So kind of like the geofront?
No, the geofront is literally just we're moving the ground underground.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more like the Citadel from Mass Effect, or the space colonies from Gundam. Or a better example would be something you may actually know. Did you ever see the live-action adaptation of Journey to the Center of the Earth?
The one with Brendan Fraser?
Yes.
Yeah.
In that movie, remember how there's a star on the inside?
Yeah.
It's like that, but artificial. Yeah, that's a really cool idea that I would love to see done, because at that point it represents a lot more, because we're not using up the natural resources of the planet that's already there. We're self-sufficient and self-reliant on resources that are already there, you know? And when you're that close to a star, there may be radiation issues, but you can also use the star as like a direct energy source for creating power and such.
Yeah. But what happens when because it's only natural for that star to slowly die and either go supernova or turn into a black hole? What's the precaution for that?
So I could ask the same question about the star we're currently orbiting. However, at that point, if there's you'd have to work. That's going to take a long time. One.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
what you'd probably see is the people running it would have to keep a close eye on that. And the moment that it started to red dwarf or transform and go, all right, the star's running out of energy, it's starting to die out. At that point, what you'd probably see is a lot of downsizing. You'd see sections of the sphere breaking off and moving elsewhere, spreading throughout the galaxy.
Okay.
Slowly getting smaller and smaller until eventually everyone just leaves, because that shit's going to explode and kill everybody.
Yeah.
So at that point, you would just spread out. And I guess a similar thing could be applied to us, like what happens when we run out of oil, which that's what we're currently dealing with right now. Yep. Now, years ago, I would say, I don't know what happens when we run out of oil, but now we know the real answer is, well,
we find some other actually renewable resource.
We already have renewable resources lined up.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So a lot of the people who actually do the research into the renewable resources that replace oil are the oil companies, because they want to be able to immediately jump on that profit train the moment oil runs out.
Yeah.
Companies are not stupid. They have plans. And the reason why an alternative resource has not already popped up is because big oil companies don't want it to. Nope. Now, I'm not saying they're going around assassinating people. I'm saying quite literally, you're a guy, let's say you're like a scientist, right? You figured out the solution. Then one day some dude, and you're talking about it with somebody, one day a dude in a suit might show up and go, hey, why don't you sell that idea to me and I'll just give you $1 million.
Yeah.
Most people would go, shit, all right, yeah, absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
Money, I would do that.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that's not my car alarm going off. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Was it? Oh man, I muted myself in OBS so that didn't pick up, and now there's an echo. Oh no. Alex, you're ruining the recording. Come back.
But if you want to talk about a universe, like a
Way
fictional
to go,
universe,
you ruined the recording.
what I do is it over?
No, there was an echo.
Not now.
Oh no.
Because I called out I love you to my mom
As far as
because
I
she's
can
going
go.
to bed.
Gotta help Wendy.
And then I heard myself and I'm like, ah, I muted myself in OBS so that didn't pick up, and then it ended up picking up on your mic. And it's like, ah, shit. Oh well.
Oh no.
And then
Now
I
you know,
started
now people know you love your mom.
And then I
What the
started
fuck?
talking and I heard my echo more and I'm like, ah, no, Alex is ruining everything.
But yeah, what I was saying, if you want a universe that's all about that kind of like little details that you can expound upon, again, Mass Effect is amazing for that.
Yeah. I
There's a
was
Oh, go ahead.
amusing myself a minute ago when we were discussing that, because I'm sure there's probably going to be a bunch of old people saying, oh, the star's not going out, there is no energy crisis. Like that sort of thing. Like, oh no, we don't have to change our lives, that star's gonna go for millions of years.
the star is on a cycle.
Yeah.
It's gonna roll back around. Yes, it will roll back around after 2 supernovas and a black hole, and we're all dead. But you're right, it is on a cycle. And everything's not gonna go nowhere. But yeah,
Unless we found a way to harness that energy, but I doubt that would happen anytime soon.
It's not worth the risk.
Yeah.
Like honestly, your best bet is just get the hell out of Dodge at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think we'll be fine as far as energy goes. What's more worrying is like whether or not the planet will survive.
Yeah.
I think the planet. Honestly, I'm one of those people that believes the planet's going to be okay for a while. Like we may eventually get to that point where it's the 40K world where it's just all smoggy and shit. However, I think we'll adapt. You know.
Yeah.
Like even if the polar ice caps melt, they're not going to melt suddenly overnight, and it's going to take time. Water levels are going to rise, and people are going to move shit and adapt and build new structures to overcome that. Like down south, we have buildings built on stilts.
Yeah.
Like areas where sea level could possibly get higher, where there's hurricanes, you'll barely see a building that's actually on the ground. Most of which are built on these giant stilts and have these weird under porches.
Yeah.
Hi, Sora. Just believe.
I wonder if we're gonna have another ice age anytime soon. Probably not in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I think at this point the damage that global warming is the damage that pollution has caused is confirmed. It's just going to take a while to get there.
Yeah.
And I was brought up in my childhood thinking, oh no, it's going to be like day after tomorrow, where overnight it's just all going to go bad. No, it's going to take at least 50 to 100 years for us to hit that second ice age point.
Yeah. Man,
So,
in that
I'm gonna be
movie,
dead by
doesn't
then.
the next day everything's fine?
No,
Doesn't
it takes
everything
like a week.
work out in the end?
It takes a while, yeah. Also, the movie sucks, but regardless, it's like shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm an asshole, but when someone tells me something wrong, something bad's going to happen in 100 years, I go, okay, so it has nothing to do with me, and I shouldn't care because I'm gonna be dead,
Yeah.
and I don't believe in life after death, nor do I plan on having any children.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for all those strangers.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a bit existential, but like I tried explaining that to somebody and they thought I was insane. I'm like, I don't know,
No,
man.
because I kind of feel the same way, but
I mean, bad things are happening to strangers all around the world. I can't constantly concern myself with that.
Yeah.
Or else I'll go insane and something bad'll happen to
try
me.
to change locally, but like, you're not gonna change anything on a global factor. It's just not gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
you as a person do not have the time or the resources to be able to change something like that.
It's interesting how life has this kind of life and influence over people in the world has this kind of cyclicality to it.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about it, it's like
And besides, if we all just like disappear and vanish off the face of the earth anyway, everything's gonna go back to nature as is.
yeah, I've also another thing is like I don't like this idea of the separation between man and nature. Like
Yeah.
there's this idea when it comes to talking about like the natural world, or the idea of man's influence in the natural world in terms of pollution and shit that separates mankind from the rest of nature.
I think it also stems into, like, man just wants to control. Like, man wants to feel control towards things around them.
Yeah, we want to feel, we want to accept guilt of the fact. Well, first off, there's the accepting guilt of the fact that we're damaging our planet, but there's also there's also the feeling of heroism we get from trying to save it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, at the end of the day, I don't think the planet gives a shit. I think these little
The planet's gonna be the planet and keep growing, and like I said, eventually gonna go back to nature. If like we all vanished one day, like I said, the planet's not gonna give a shit. Nature's just gonna reform, and like another animal's probably gonna take our place.
Yeah, through evolution over a long period of time. Also, so what you're saying is life.
What I'm saying is we don't matter, and none of this matters. We're all gonna die in the end anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say life finds a way, but another good in the ass. But another a good example of that would be like the ending of Final Fantasy VII, where after you defeat the big world-ending threat, it jumps 1,000 years into the future to show that nature survived and life continues on even without us.
Yeah,
like, it's kind of what Final Fantasy VII is all about. Is just kind of accepting your place in nature and trying to do its best.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the end, something that I guess this gets kind of glossed over when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, it's what confuses me about the remake and people's perception of it. They fail. In the end, like, fucking, you fail in defeating Sephiroth Nova. You lose. Like, or you don't lose, you kill it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Exactly.
What matters in the, like, Holy doesn't matter. Like, Aerith's sacrifice, her summon Holy doesn't change anything, and in the end the planet has to like protect itself. Nature has to defend itself from the encroaching threat.
Yeah.
And that's how that ends. And I really enjoy that message of just people caring way too much about the goddamn planet, or not caring, or feeling as though it's just a power source for them, you know?
Yeah.
Rather than existing in unity with the planet, they try to separate themselves and make themselves either better or make the planet worse.
Yeah.
You know.
Which also lends itself back to what I said before about the control aspect.
Yeah,
very controlling. Want to make sure you're on top, and yeah.
Well, that was one of our big conversations we had that I wish we recorded, was our conversation about systems and how cells, like, none of our cells are rebelling. None of our cells are saying, "Oh, cancer's but like,
well, yeah,
if you don't have cancer, all of your cells are working together to do a job. They're all given their own task and will.
Also, not to change the topic, but I just got the second best ability in this game, Second Chance.
Oh, those scan. We already have scan, never mind.
No, Scan and Leaf Brace, or Second Chance and Leaf Brace are probably the two best abilities in this game when it comes to healing and staying alive. Survivability, that's the word.
Yeah, self-sustain.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, like, we had this really good conversation about how we are, as people, like, we're people, right? We're an individual. However, we're made up of millions of individual cells that all have their own consciousness and will.
Yes.
Like, we're individuals, yes, but we're also collectives.
Can't believe it.
Yep.
And then you can kind of, what happens after that point is you zoom it out again and you reach, you can look at the cells and how cells have individual components, or you can zoom it out and look at how people in a society kind of forms a body as well.
Yeah.
And the difference between a human body and society as a whole is that a bunch of cells have separated themselves from the world and are just filled to bursting with cancer. Like, the Earth, or human society, or life as a whole. Let's look at humanity. Humanity is just filled to bursting with cancer in terms of cells just rebelling and not working towards the greater good. But it's kind of a natural conclusion to come to when these cells don't know what that greater good or greater purpose even is.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you told a skin cell, "Yeah, man, do what you want." What the fuck's a skin cell gonna do?
Probably its job.
Or die. Yeah. Or a blood cell. Like, hey, white blood cell, you don't gotta stop, You don't got to stop bad things from getting into the blood. You don't got to protect the greater host. Just do your own thing. It's like, okay. Fucking white blood cell writes fanfic, and then I die of an infection.
So,
is this what Osmosis Jones was about?
No. Well, no, not really.
Where's our Osmosis Jones world?
Is that even Disney?
Probably not.
I'd go to that world. Well, isn't there a world where you go inside someone or something? Yeah, Monstro. Kinda already had that world.
Yeah. Warner Bros. Okay, so no.
Also, I had a realization.
Uh-huh.
You know how that one recording for that one episode, I pressed the button to start start the voice recording, and it slowed mode the video and the VLC media player?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened with Fallout. That's also what happened with Zelda.
Okay, so that's the issue.
That was the issue. I was thinking about it one night before I went to bed, and I like sat up immediately, and I'm like, that was the fucking reason, wasn't it? I got really excited because I actually figured it out. Because I thought it was something I did. Well, it was obviously something I did, but like, I thought it was like a different thing. But yeah, I was like really happy I figured out that issue.
Yeah, awesome. Glad to hear it.
And that's why I will not be using whatever button that was. I think it was the greater than or less than buttons. I will not be using them to start up recording for audio in OBS now.
Oh yeah. But yeah, just conversations about systems and how we're part of something bigger than ourselves, I guess. But that something isn't something. It's not something like magnificent or beautiful. It just is.
Yeah.
And being able to accept that may lead to greater happiness or whatever. That's kind of what Midnight Gospel is That's like kind of a big part of that show as well.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to talk about it all of a sudden.
This I think this wasn't added.
This feels added.
I think this was in the original. No, this was in the original. You can tell it was in the original because it's voice acted.
Remember, relying too heavily on the dark powers could cost you your heart.
I like that Maleficent warns him.
Yeah, I do too.
It's like, look, dude, there are rules here.
He saw it before too. Like he has bear witness to that happening with Jafar, Clayton, multiple people.
Where darkness just overtakes you and you lose your will.
Yeah. Yep. Well, yeah, not really cool. Jafar, more Clayton than anything.
I really do enjoy how not really pragmatic, but I like how Maleficent has her own goals and motivations, even if it is just to take over the world, and she understands like the consequences of darkness.
Yeah.
Like Xehanort's the same way. Xehanort isn't darkness incarnate. He literally uses it as a tool for his own ends.
Yeah. He's
more of a character where it's not like Ansem in the first game where he's just, I am literally a representation of darkness.
Yeah.
Peter,
I also really like Maleficent's, not really change of heart. She still has her goals and motivations, but towards evil. But the fact that she helps you in the second game is very endearing, and I really like that.
Yeah, because she doesn't want Xehanort to win.
Yeah.
It's competition.
Yep. And also the fact that I love how she's like, after all of this is over, this castle is mine.
Oh boy.
When you're at the world that never was.
Do me a favor?
Yeah, bad news for you, Maleficent.
Yeah, shit. I'm sorry to tell you this.
But that shit didn't stick around.
Now we can summon Tinkerbell, and we got the new fairy harp. We got Glide.
All right, Tinkerbell, in the jar you go.
And now, alongside all of those games, we also gained the end of the episode. So thank you for watching.
You also gained the jar.
Ew.